Hello, welcome. My name's Keith. I am your meditation teacher here on this channel. Meditation Breaks, that's what it's called. And as the name might imply, we're going to take a little break and meditate. And each week we do so and we focus on a different theme. And we base our meditation that we do and discussion around that theme as well. And I think this is a really cool way to approach learning meditation because we are all very busy. We do not have unlimited time to sit down with our eyes closed peacefully. We're busy. And so a lot of what we do here is start to look at our like everyday life and how we can start to incorporate meditation and some of the principles we learn in meditation into that. So that's all to say. We have a theme. This week's theme is turning uncertainty into compassion, which doesn't mean much now, but hopefully it'll mean more when we talk about it. And if you're like, hey, I don't know how to meditate, Keith, and so your themes are not what I'm looking for. Fair. And that's why each session I start with an introduction to what meditation is. How does it work? Why do we do it? How do we do it? All those questions you might have if this is your first time meditating. Hey, Antonio. If you are brand new, you're in a great spot. So we're going to cover the basics here. So the cadence for today is going to be 1, what the heck is meditation? 2, we're going to do a little breathing meditation together, and then we'll go on to our theme, and we'll end with another meditation. Cool? Oh, Antonio. Okay, I will look. Sorry, I'm a little tardy at my emails. Linda, how you doing? Okay, so let's get started as we do each week with a question that is a large one. What is meditation? How do we define it? And in many ways, it's a bit of a fool's errand. Oh, Antonio. Yes, I will talk about that with you over email. That's a really good idea for you. That'd be great. When we think about the word meditation, it's almost a bit of a fool's errand to try to define it because it is quite vast and means a lot of different things. But when we think about the word, a very specific image does come to mind, and that is of somebody sitting down on the floor with their legs crossed or whatever, and they're like this, and they look peaceful, and we're like, hey, I want to be relaxed. That looks relaxing. I should do that. And so we do. And we may feel relaxed because meditation is a very good way to start to pacify the busyness in our mind. But doing this, whether or not you use meditation for relaxation or something else, it does not require for you to sit down with your legs crossed or whatever, and your arms like this. That is a seating position, and in many traditions of meditation, that is a kind of like formally how you sit. But great news, meditation does not require a seating arrangement for you. And I say great news because I don't know about you, but it was hard for me to sit like that. And so if that's how I had to sit, it might discourage me from doing it. Excuse me. So if that image, somebody sitting down cross-legged with their arms like this, extremely tranquil, is not like the definition of what meditation is, then what is a definition? Here on this channel, I like to talk about meditation and define it like this. It is a technique that you can make use of and learn to help you become really familiar with something. And whatever that thing you're trying to be familiar with is up to you. Now that doesn't really help like narrow down the definition, because we don't go around saying I'm familiarizing my mind with how to make a cup of coffee, right? We don't think in terms of our mind becoming familiar with things, but that is exactly what it is doing. All day long, every moment since you have been born up until this very moment now, and beyond, your mind is making connections with things, becoming familiar with things. I like this. I don't like this. This is fun. This is not. This is how you jump up and down. All of these kind of skills that we have, regardless of how rudimentary they may feel, are based in this idea of familiarity. And the output of becoming really familiar with something is consistent across all of them. And that output is that the more familiar you are with something, the more kind of second nature it is, the more readily it shows up. It takes less concentration, less effort, all those things, right? And so I'll often use the example of tying your shoe, which is something that, presumably we're all pretty good at this point in our life. And yet there was a moment where the words tying your shoe all meant nothing to us, because we didn't know what a shoe was, or the concept of you, or any of that. And so the act of tying your shoe, something that you are extremely familiar with now, and as a result, you can do it without really focusing on the task at hand, wasn't always like that. And this is an illustration of the role familiarity plays in our life, both for the good, the bad, and in between. So something like getting frustrated. We don't usually have to try to get frustrated. It kind of just happens. We're having a great day and everything's going well, and then somebody says something, or we, I don't know, something happens and we're like, we're frustrated, right? We don't have to be like, hold on, I'm in such a good mood that it's really taking me a while to get frustrated here. No, we don't really say that. Patience, on the other hand, kind of the opposite of frustration, does require us to sometimes stop, pause, make some space right in between the situation. This is because our mind, in the grand spectrum of things that it has reacted to, has probably had more practice getting annoyed than being super patient, in situations that maybe don't go as we'd planned. It's purely a familiarity thing. And so we can start to see how this one concept permeates pretty much all of our life. And so you might be like, hey, cool talk, but I'm here to relax. And how does that factor in here? Well, when we start meditating, we might feel relaxed, and we could think meditation relaxes me. The act of meditating is what creates this relaxed feeling. But meditation is not creating relaxation. It does not have the power to do that. You are relaxed. You have a relaxed version of yourself. You know it's in there. It does come out from time to time. Meditation is teaching you to become so familiar with that version of yourself that what happens, similar to tying your shoe or learning a new language or anything, it starts to show up with less effort. It becomes second nature, it becomes your default. You start to just kind of gravitate towards being relaxed. And that is familiarity, right? And so this word, familiarity, and meditation are you can think of them as synonymous, right? It's essentially the core function of what we're doing. And the cool thing here is you already have this ability to become familiar with stuff. You do it all the time. And this meditation is a way for you to start to choose what do you want your mind to be familiar with, right? To guide our mind in the right direction. Right in terms of what we want out of it, because our mind does what it's used to, and without some of that direction, it starts to form some familiarity with things that maybe we don't really want it to, or would rather it not as much, like anxiety and things like that. Cool. So that's all well and good. That's what meditation is. That's kind of why we're here. How do we meditate? So all forms of meditation basically kind of boil into three like steps, I guess you can call it phases or something, right? Hey, so how you doing? Good to see you. Rosa, hello. So step one is we're going to choose to do this, right? Sounds weird because you're here, but we sometimes accidentally have meditative experiences. Like if you've ever been in the zone, flow state or something trendy, cool, they call it. Like, you're working on a document at work. This is me working on a document, very serious document. And what happens? I lose track of time. I have knee pain, and I seemingly I don't have any knee pain anymore, but I'm working on this document so diligently, right? Noises that may normally distract us. We're so focused on one thing that what happens? All the other things in our mind start to dampen a little. There's not as much room for them, right? This is a meditative experience. It is taking single-pointed concentration, which is a good way of describing it, what we're doing here. Single-pointedly focusing on one thing, doing it so much so that other things, there's not as much room for them to be at the forefront of your mind, right? And y'all have done this. But we've done it maybe not with like the intention of doing it. It kind of just happens. And so what we're doing here, the first step in our meditation process, is to choose to do it. And we're going to say to ourselves something like, for the next couple of minutes, I'm going to focus single pointedly on my breath, for example. And that's it. Right? That's our intention. We're setting that. We are purposely doing this thing. And then we're going to actively act on that. We are going to single-pointedly focus on something. And in this case, it's going to be our breath, which is called breathing meditation, which you have definitely heard of. Breathing meditation is quite simply meditating on your breath. Meditating as in focusing single-pointedly on an object or situation or thing, and in this case, that is our breath. Doesn't have to be. Antonio before mentioned like a walking meditation. Walking meditation is when the focal point of your meditation is how your feet feel when they make contact with the ground, for example, right? It doesn't matter what our focal point is. We get to choose that. The methodology is the same. We are training our mind to focus so exclusively on this one thing that all the other things start to fade a little bit into the background. So we're doing our breathing meditation. It's very tranquil. I'm leading it. And then you notice, hey, wait a second. I'm not thinking about my breath. I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat for dinner later. Or like, wait a minute. I was just thinking about work. This happens all the time. This is our mind doing what it does. It thinks a lot. It's quite powerful. And when we are meditating, we're not like saying these are distractions even. This is just what our mind does. It thinks. But when we notice that our mind is not single-pointedly focused on our breath, in this case, we're just going to be like, not right now. To those thoughts. That's our attitude towards it. Not right now. Not bad, not distracting, just not now. And we're going to try to put those thoughts aside and bring our attention back to breathing. So, step one, we choose to focus single-pointedly on our breath. Step two, we start doing that. And notice when our attention drifts. Step 3, we put those drifting thoughts aside and we bring our attention back to breathing. There is no barometer of success here. It's not like, hey, you better not get distracted more than 5 times, or like, it doesn't, none of that matters. The act of being here, doing this cyclical process, is meditation. Cool? Okay. So you may notice I'm not sitting on the floor. You too can not sit on the floor, or you can lay down, or you can do whatever you want, because meditation travels well and it doesn't require you to be in a specific seating position. Some advice I would give is to pick a seating position that isn't uncomfortable for you, because we got enough distractions in our life. You don't need an uncomfortable seat to be one of them right now. So find a relatively comfortable place to sit or lay or whatever, and you can go ahead and close your eyes. And I'm going to guide us through about a 5 to 7 minute breathing meditation. Okay. Whenever you start a meditation, it can be really helpful to take a moment and check in, to ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? In this exact moment. It's not looking at earlier, just now. How do you feel? Maybe you're feeling tired. You had a long day. Maybe you're feeling energetic, excited to be here to learn. Maybe you're feeling happy, or maybe a little melancholy. Whatever you notice is perfect. You do not need to change anything. There is nothing to change. We are just observing. Practicing noticing what's going on in your mind. This is an exercise in something called mindfulness. And it's incredibly important in terms of preparing us for our meditation. Take a moment and check in. Having done that, we can now make a promise to ourselves. We're setting an intention, a wish. And that promise, that intention, that wish is for the next few minutes to focus exclusively on your own breath. And that's it. This is your only task right now. All the other things, all the other thoughts, they can wait. For the next few minutes, it's just you and your breath here together. Let this promise sit in your mind. And with that intention firmly in your mind, we can act on it. You can turn your full, undivided attention to your own breath, breathing in and breathing out very gently, very naturally. There's no need to change anything about how you normally breathe. No need for big, deep inhales or forceful exhale of air. However you normally breathe, whatever comes natural, that's what I want you to do. In and out. Following each breath. Our mind is extremely familiar with thinking about a lot of things. And so, as we're meditating, you will undoubtedly find that at moments it starts to drift a bit. It's not just thinking about your breath. Your mind is now splitting time, thinking about other things like what you have to do after this class ends, or tomorrow, or something that happened earlier. Whenever you notice that your mind is drifting in this way, we can just say, not right now, to those thoughts. We'll get to them later. You can actually imagine yourself picking up those other thoughts and placing them beside you, where they are waiting patiently. And with those thoughts waiting patiently, you can once again turn your full attention back to breathing in and breathing out very gently and very naturally. Single pointedly focused on each moment of each breath. Thinking of our breath in terms of moments is not something that we do very often. Breathing is something that just kind of happens in the background. But what happens if we actively choose to focus single pointedly on it, to be there with each breath, each moment? Every time you breathe in, I want you to imagine that you are watching that air being slowly pulled from the atmosphere closer and closer to you until it enters your body. Imagine you're watching that air move through your body, settling in your lungs, your chest expanding to make room, your shoulders rising as that air reaches your lungs. Feel the energy that it provides. This is what breathing in feels like. How wonderful. What about when you exhale? Can you feel your shoulders fall? Your chest contract? Can you watch as that air is gently pushed back through your body? Watch as it exits your body. And observe as it begins to mix in with all the other pockets of air, slowly dissipating. This is what breathing out feels like. How wonderful. When we focus our mind single pointedly on something, we tend to be able to get a glimpse at some of the subtleties of that thing. The subtle joys, the subtle interests and fascinations, things that are always there, have always been there, waiting for us to notice them. I wonder what other things in your life are waiting to be noticed. What other subtle interests and joys can be found? Breathing in, breathing out, very gently and very naturally. Keep bringing your attention back to your breath as many times as you need to. This process of choosing to focus single pointedly on your own breath, noticing when your attention drifts, being able to guide your attention back. That process is meditation. You are meditating right now. You are training your mind to focus on what you want to focus on. And right now, the only thing you want to focus on is breathing in and out, very gently and very naturally. For the last few moments, just take a little time for you. No need to think about too much. Just enjoy being here in this moment. Okay. When you are ready at your own pace, you can open your eyes. Janice, hello. Wow, I haven't seen you in so long. Oh, I hope you're doing great. I'm doing okay. Yeah. How are you? I can't wait to reconnect. Maybe we'll email each other and catch up. That'd be great. Congrats, everyone. You did it. You have meditated and you did it wonderfully. Now, you may be like, well, I don't know about that because, man, my mind was like all over the place. We have this kind of instinctual desire to do things right or whatever, be the best at them or whatever. Meditation is a practice that does not have success metrics attached to them. What you just did, you get an A+, no matter how it went. Because the art of meditation is the practice of meditation. We all are equally adept at meditating. It's purely just a matter of, is this something that's familiar to you or not? And I venture to guess that for the majority of us, this is not something that we're really familiar with. It's not something that we were taught in school. It's not something that the doctor recommended to us. It's not something that we have been practicing for, as long as something like walking, for example. And so there's no question why it will feel less like it will require practice and concentration. But over time, you will become familiar with this, just like you become familiar with anything else. And this process of meditating and focusing on something single pointedly and noticing when your attention drifts and all that it will start to become second nature to you. You won't have to put as much oomph into it. Cool? Good. That's breathing meditation. Greg, thank you for subscribing. It's quite kind of you. Congrats on breathing meditation. We're now going to talk about our topic for today. And our topic for today is taking this like concept of not knowing, uncertainty, whatever you want to call it, and using that as a conduit for compassion, for kindness. And this is kind of getting at this, I get, what's like the old saying, like small acts of kindness, that kind of thing. What we're going to talk a little bit about first is how actions take form, because this is, I think, really important for understanding why we gravitate towards doing certain things or thinking certain things and not others. In our kind of life here, there's a lot of value placed on physical actions. Calling a friend, giving somebody resources if they need them, giving somebody a hug, right? These are all physical actions that we are doing. And they can have a really large impact on people's lives. All of these things, calling a friend, giving resources, giving a hug, whatever, they all only exist because of the mental action that comes before them, right? In order for you to call a friend, your mind is going to be like, oh, I should call my friend. And it happens so fast that we don't really recognize it. This is like our mind is like wildly powerful. Giving resources, we have to have the thought, oh, I should help this person, or giving a hug. Hug. Like our mind has to think hug in order for us to hug. Otherwise, we would just, I don't know, be like this, like sitting there doing nothing. And so while it feels really natural for us to put a lot of value on physical actions, and rightfully so, that those physical actions do have a lot of value, they can exist without the mental component. And we don't really put a lot of value on mental actions, right? The thought of calling a friend seems like insignificant until you call your friend, if that makes sense. But you can't call your friend physically without doing the mental part. So what this is kind of getting at is the mental component, practicing, becoming familiar with thinking about calling your friend, thinking about giving resources to people in need, thinking about being there and giving a hug and being compassionate. Like that is actually really important, because the more familiar we are with those things, the more our mind gravitates to them. We have more opportunities to act on them. And so the mental component of physical actions is super important. And we have lots of what I'll call like spontaneous acts of kindness, mental actions that happen throughout the day, right? That just kind of spawn into existence. And whether we act on them or not is yet to be determined, but there's no shortage of mental actions that we are having. What I think sometimes this translates into is a lot of opportunity, and then we look at the other end and we're like, well, I don't always act on them. So what's going on in between, right? And a lot of times when we have these mental actions, there's this space in between the mental action and the presumed physical one, where we like kind of talk ourselves out of our instinct. Right? So I should call a friend, right? We'll use that as an example. I have this thought. It kind of seemingly comes out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh, I should call this friend. And then little time goes by, right? Moments, seconds. And we start to think, yeah, but I'm really busy right now. Right? And so we kind of put it off, and then maybe we forget to do it, right? Or we distract ourselves with something, either purposely or not, right? We justify why we shouldn't do it. Maybe our friend hasn't called us in a really long time, and then we're like, well, they don't call me. These things are happening in our mind. Like, we're kind of like talking ourselves out of what was a really good instinct to call a friend, right? It's the mental component that is the blocker here, right? Not the physical one. The physical one comes when all the mental parts align. And so one really interesting way to kind of nurture this, to nurture the idea of acting on these instincts of kindness, is to think about this like concept of I don't know, right? And what does that mean? Okay, we'll talk about it. When we have an instinct and then we start to like ruminate on those things, we think we're starting to like have a determined outcome. Like, we think we know how things will go, right? Oh, if I call my friend, then I'll be on the phone for too long, and then I'll won't have time to eat dinner, and whatever, right? Or we kind of see something, maybe we see a piece of trash on the street, and we have this instinct to pick it up and throw it away, and then we kind of have these moments where we're like, well, I don't know, it's just a one piece of trash. What's that going to do? Or, it's not my job to do that, or whatever. And these acts feel like really small in the grand scheme of helping other people and whatnot. Picking up a piece of trash, calling a friend, giving somebody a hug, they feel very small, but we don't know if they will be small, big to the other person, right? On the other end of this, or the environment, right? So, for example, let's take that piece of trash, right? It's possible that we pick it up, we put it in the trash bin, and the wind comes and blows it right back into the same place, right? It's also possible that we pick up that piece of trash and we put it in the old trash can, and the person whose job it is to clean up that park or wherever we are has one less stop to make, one less thing to pick up, and as a result, they beat some of the traffic home, and they get home in time to see their kids before they go to bed. And that's something that this person doesn't get to do a lot, because they're always working late, because there's a lot of trash to pick up, to clean up. We don't know which of those things, we don't know what the result of picking up the piece of trash will be. We might think we know, we might like have a sense, it's easy for us to kind of dismiss some of the kind of positive snowball effects of this, but the reality is we can't say with 100% certainty. So why not give it a shot? Like, that's kind of the thing here, right? Like, we have these mental actions, and then we start to like kind of justify them with data or whatever, and the ultimate result is we don't know what will come, but it is a kind of positive mental action. Like, it's let's take a shot at it, That is, I think, a way to kind of kickstart nurturing some of these positive mental actions that are coming up, and there's no shortage of them. There's tons of examples in your life. I'm sure you can think of some, including meditation. Meditation feels like a very me thing. I'm meditating so I can relax, etc. And oftentimes meditation, like sitting down for 5 minutes and doing breathing meditation, feels small. It feels insignificant in the grand scheme of things. And we might even have the thought like, oh, this isn't worth my time, whatever, right? Um, but meditation, that 5 minutes has the possibility of translating into so many wonderful things. You learn how to kind of call upon your relaxed self a little bit more. And now your relationships with other people, seemingly, it bleeds into that, right? If you're kind of defaulting to being relaxed, you may be a lot less quick to anger in your relationships. And now you have a better relationship with people, or you're more kind of like emotionally available to be there to help people in times of need. Like there's so many cascading effects from such a very small start that the act of meditating for 5 minutes, it cannot be considered small. It is quite large and quite wonderful and important. And a lot of the things that we do in our day, the thoughts that we have, are wonderful and kind. And this is just a interesting way to start to think about them and maybe motivate us to take a shot. Cool? Okay. Let's do a little meditation, and we'll do a meditation on this very thing. And it'll start off pretty similar to what we just did in terms of breathing meditation. We'll start focusing on our breath, and then I'll kind of transition into this visualization that it will illustrate some of the things we were talking about. Cool? All right. Get comfy. If you have determined your previous seating arrangement was unacceptable in terms of comfort to you, now is a great time to change. Get comfy, close your eyes. And you can start by checking in once again. What's your mind up to right now? How are you feeling? There may be a tendency to compare it to before when we did this, but before is done. We're just focused on now. What's your mind up to now? Having checked in, you can once again make a promise to yourself. Set an intention. That promise, that intention is twofold this time. One, to pacify the busyness in your mind by focusing exclusively on your own breath for a little while, and then to use that pacified mind to think about something. In this case, what we've been talking about today. This is your only task. All other things can wait. They will be there for you when you're done. With your intention set, you can turn your full, undivided attention to your breath, following it throughout its journey, in and out, very gently, very naturally. At some point, you may notice your attention drifting a bit, thinking about something other than just breathing. Whenever you notice that your mind is drifting like this, we can just say, not right now to those thoughts. We'll get to them later. And with those thoughts waiting patiently, we can bring our full attention back to breathing in and breathing out very gently and very naturally. Keep bringing your attention back to your breath as many times as you need to. Your mind has the ability to think about so many things. It is a expert in multitasking. Even if you don't really identify as a multitasker, your mind is constantly juggling things. And so when we do something like meditation, where we ask our mind to focus on one thing, it can feel kind of small. It can feel not productive. It can feel like we could be doing more. It can feel small. But there is a massive benefit in practicing the art of focusing on one thing. Something that seems small can turn into something unimaginably large and valuable. Very often we get into meditation for being more relaxed. It's a good goal. What would our life look like if we were more relaxed? Actually, take a moment and think about that. How would having relaxation just kind of be your thing, your default? Less stress, more calm. How would that affect your personal relationships? How would it affect how you handle internal conflict, worries, fears? How would it affect your ability to be resilient? What would your life look like if relaxation was so familiar to you that you really didn't have to try to be relaxed at all? You just were. whatever you're picturing is big. Monumental improvement on your day to day. A monumental improvement on the happiness that you get out of each moment. It is big. It is anything but small. Will we reach that point where we are so familiar with being relaxed that it just is kind of second nature to us? I can't say, and you can't. Maybe. Maybe not. We don't know. But it seems worth trying, doesn't it? For the next couple of moments, just make a little promise to yourself to try, to give it a shot. Because we don't know all the wonderful things that it could lead to. Okay, whenever you are ready, you can open your eyes. Hello, once again. Welcome back. So pretty similar to what we did the first time around. In fact, nearly identical. And then we kind of got a quick glimpse at like what phase 2 of meditation can be. We pacify our mind. We're feeling, a little more relaxed than that. And then we're using that more relaxed mindset to think about something with a level of clarity that we may not have been able to think about it with had we not pacified our mind a little bit. And in this kind of thought experiment, we're envisioning what our life might be like if we kind of achieve this goal that many of us have with regards to meditation, right? And so something that seems small, being here for this class once a week, once every month, once every couple months, whatever it is, if something that feels small, insignificant, it's actually not that at all. It is extremely big, has extreme potential. We don't know what that potential will be, but the possibility is there. And so trying it seems like a good use of our time. Shelley, self-compassion. Yes. Beautiful. Rosa, thank you. I appreciate it. That's it for today. Hopefully you had a good time. If you did, come on back next week where we will certainly be talking about something meditation-y. I don't know what yet, but a surprise for all. Thanks again to Greg for subscribing, and to anyone else that chooses to do so later. Means a lot to me. It helps other people kind of find meditation videos and the algorithm of YouTube that I can't possibly begin to understand. And on a personal note, it just means a lot to me. You guys are so supportive. I love teaching, and I could not do that without you dedicating time out of your day to be here. And so all of these wonderful things that you guys do to show support is wonderful and means so much to me. Lastly, if you had a great time, and you're like, hey, you know what? Meditation rocks. Keith's right. He was right all along. Meditation's amazing. I offer You're probably not that enthused. I offer one-on-one private instruction. I do it virtually. It's very laid back, and this is an opportunity for us to kind of focus on something that you want to get out of meditation. Maybe the topic today is not why you're here, or like maybe it isn't like connecting with you, like, but you really want to focus on anxiety or something like that. We can do that together. So if that is interesting to you, email me and we will find a time to get together. I will give you my email now. It is keith@meditationbreaks.com. Keith@meditationbreaks. Typing it. Man, I always get nervous. I think it's right. Meditation breaks. Great. That's my email. Email me if you're interested in doing a one-on-one. You just want to say hi or whatever. You have a question about meditation as you're trying this on your own. And once again, thank you guys for taking time out of your day to be here. Your time is your most valuable resource, and the fact that you are giving it to me essentially is really wonderful. It's a really beautiful thing. I appreciate it. So thank you, and I hope to see you all next time. All right. Take care.